In this video, I'm going to be talking about an individual by the name of Jon Luke Evans. He is an individual who is from Jamaica, who entered into, well, he didn't enter into the establishment illegally. He basically came here and overstayed his visa. And he came in from, of course, the South, like near Florida, and then went all the way to Maine and ended up becoming a cop. Well, because he overstayed his visa, he got found out, and he is now agreeing to voluntarily self-deport himself out of here. And as a matter of fact, let me retract myself in the beginning. He actually was illegal. Like, he wasn't supposed to be here, but for some reason he got in, overstayed, and became a cop. I think that's the craziest part about it. He ended up becoming a cop. That just shows you how weak their background checks are, if that's indeed the case, which it seems to appear to be. So let's get into it. The illegal immigrant who landed a gig as a police officer in Maine after overstaying his visa agreed to voluntarily leave the U.S. following detention by federal immigration agents when he attempted to buy a firearm. And the crazy part about it is, the reason why I keep thinking about Maine, I keep thinking about that off-coat yellow shirt wearing dude that was on that Jubilee thing with Amanda Seals, and he's like, I think he's Angolan, and he lives in Maine, and just how off-cold he was. Like that reminded me of that. So what are the odds that this story falls into my lap after that whole debacle? A judge on Monday granted the voluntary departure for Jamaican national Jon Luke Evans, a former reserve police officer with the Old Orchard Beach Police Department. He must pay his own way to leave the United States within a set time during or under the voluntary departure order. Evans was required to acknowledge his unlawful presence in the U.S., forego any applications for legal status, and prove he had both the intention and financial ability to depart to secure his voluntary departure. Evans was arrested in Bidford on July 25th after the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives was informed that he attempted to purchase a gun. Now, here's the thing. He probably thought that because he became a cop, or he slithered his way into becoming a cop, that he was good. Well, here's the thing. When you're a cop and you get that gun, that's appointed to you. That's like a part of the uniform. So it's not like you're going out and purchasing the gun yourself to have for your uniform. It's assigned to you through the department. When he decided that he was going to go and purchase his own firearm, that's where he messed up. I don't know what made him think that was the smart, and for him, what made him think that was the smartest thing to do, as if they wasn't going to run everything. When you're about to buy a gun, they run they should run everything on you, all types of background checks. And that came up and showed, oh, wait a minute. According to this, you are here illegally. So now it's crazy how the people who were able to detect him at the place where he's trying to buy the firearm, but for some odd reason, the department that hired him didn't catch that. So now people are gonna probably look at the department with a side eye, like, how in the world did you not pick that up? He was being held in the Plymouth County Correctional Facility in Massachusetts, but he was later transferred to the Wyatt Detention Center in Central Falls, Rhode Island, the outlet reported. Evans initially entered the U.S. legally on a week-long visa through Miami International Airport on September 2023. Although he was scheduled to leave the country on October 1st, 2023, he failed to do so and ultimately became a police officer in Maine. That is crazy. So he was here on a week-long visa, just a week. Now, this was 2 years ago, and he's just now getting caught. Nearly 2 years later. That is crazy. And that means he knew exactly what he was doing. He can't sit up there and say, oh, I didn't know. No, you knew. You knew how long you was going to be here, because they went through all the documents with you and said, okay, this is your visa is going to run from here to here. Just a week. His week-long visa turned into a nearly 2-year unauthorized vacation. Let's just put it that way. And then he landed a job as a cop in Maine. That is wild. It says, by May, Evans joined the police force as a seasonal officer for the popular tourist town. They said by May. So again, his visa ran from the end of September to the beginning of October 2023, and then by May of 2024, he became a cop. That is crazy. As part of his hiring process, Evans underwent a background check, physical and medical screenings, and law enforcement training. The department also sent his employment documents to the Department of Homeland Security to confirm Evans' eligibility to work in the U.S., the department said. The DHS stated that Evans had an eligible work permit that was set to expire in March 2030, according to the police department. It says, our department and our community relied on the Department of Homeland Security's E-Verify program to ensure we were meeting our obligations, Police Chief Elise Char told Fox News Digital. Well, it sounds like their E-Verify system is not legit, or it doesn't completely work. We are distressed and deeply concerned about this apparent error on the part of the federal government. E-Verify is an online system that allows employers to check if potential employees are eligible to work in the U.S. His role as a reserve officer prevented him from taking department-issued firearms home or carrying his own weapons on the job. Chard clarified that reserve officers are neither permitted to supply their own firearms nor authorized to carry non-issued weapons while on duty. The town is aware of reports that Evans plans to leave the country voluntarily. The town reiterates its ongoing commitment to meeting all state and federal laws regarding employment, Chard said in a statement. We will continue to rely on the I-9 employment eligibility verification form and the E-Verify databases to confirm employment eligibility. So you see that this system definitely didn't work in this case, and you hired this person that wasn't supposed to, one, even be hired, and two, he wasn't even supposed to be here, and you're still going to use it. So one experience apparently wasn't enough for you. Let's just go ahead and do it again and just cross our fingers and our toes and hope for the best. I don't know about you, but they're lucky that this guy wasn't here on a nefarious reason, because then what would you do? But still, at the end of the day, this guy's way overstayed his. Once he overstayed that visa, that's when he became illegal. At that point, he was no longer temporarily legal. And he knew that. He knew exactly what he was doing. That's why he's volunteering to leave. He didn't put up a fight and say, oh, I'm supposed to be here, or something got messed up. That's why he's volunteering to leave, because he knew he was in the wrong. Assistant Secretary of Homeland Security Tricia McLaughlin stated that the police department had a reckless reliance on the E-Verify program and should have conducted further research to verify the individual's legal status. Usage of E-Verify does not absolve employers of their legal duty to verify documentation authenticity, and all employers should take necessary steps to effectively verify legal employment status. No illegal alien should ever be provided a firearm or serve in law enforcement. Not only is it the law, it's also basic common sense. However, McLaughlin also stated that E-Verify delivers high accuracy in verifying work authorization by cross-checking employee documents against government databases to combat rampant document fraud and protecting American workers. So basically, she's doing the double speak. Officials in Old Orchard Beach countered that the federal government has encouraged employers nationwide to adopt E-Verify. Simply stated, had the government flagged his information, my town would not have hired Mr. Evans, Chard said. Any insinuation that the town and department were derelict in our efforts to verify Mr. Evans' eligibility to work for the town is false and appears to be an attempt to shift the blame onto a hardworking local law enforcement agency that has done its job. Really, it's bad on both parts. One, because they didn't completely back check it properly, and two, because that just shows that this E-Verify thing that the government has going on is not completely 100% fail proof. It just shows you right there, if this guy could literally slip in and become a cop and has been there for a while, from what I gather, after he knew that what he did was wrong and he overstayed his visa and was here basically illegally for the last 2 years, then the fault definitely falls at someone's feet. But right now, the local department in Maine is throwing blame at the government, and then the government is throwing the fault at the department. So they're doing this tit for tat thing, when really the fault really falls somewhere in the middle, where both of them definitely have some blame. But really, most of the blame, if you want to be technical, falls onto Jon Luke Evans, because he knew what he did was wrong. He knew that he wasn't supposed to be here longer than a week, and he knew that he wasn't supposed to go get a job as a cop. Yet he got one, and then because he felt so comfortable, he said, let me just go and try my luck and go buy my own firearm. I mean, hell, he probably thought in his mind, oh, I was able to get away with becoming a cop where they gave me a uniform, a badge, a taser, and a gun. If that was so easy, then let me go and press my luck and go and try and buy a firearm. And he failed. And that's how he got caught. Imagine had he not went to go buy that firearm, he would still be working in that department, which means he would still be living in this establishment illegally. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.